Salam alaikum, je me présente. Je m'appelle Samir Moussa, je suis à la tête de l'équipe NIC.
I am Samir Moussa, I am at the top of NIC, the service in charge of the registration of domain names. I'm going to share with you our experience in the field of the registration of domain names. The National Registry, the ATI, the Historical Operator of Internet in Tunisia, is the registry of the national domain names charged by the ATI to manage technically this mission and to promote names of the domain such as .tunisia, .tunis, .tunis, according to a convention since 1996. Sorry, there is no animation, the speaker is saying. What about the registry missions? It's based on three main pillars. The technical aspect, as the registry is in charge of the management of the registration platform of domain fields. Then it is in charge of the S&D platform management. And thirdly, it's in charge of the management of who is platform, that is to make a link between information related to the name of the field or of the domain. The second pillar, which is about information and sensitization. The registrar is in charge of guiding and monitoring registration offices to provide support to the choice of domain names and information on the registration procedure. It is also in charge of providing communication and information around news related to national domain. The third pillar is related to strategic, as it ensures the provision of DNS service around the technologies and also coordination with national and international instances such as ICA and IANA. Registration models in the domain in the space .tn. ATI has adopted the model 2R, the R registry registrant since 1996. It was requested by the ATI and also given by it. Then in 1997 we adopted registrar registrant model 3R. It's based on the introduction of the registration bureau or office that will play the role of interface, a unique interface between the suppliers and the registration of the domain and those who request to have a name. Now I will start the following slide about registry activities framework. Actually, it's about the registry convention and the registry office. I'm going to give you an overview of the convention. The first chapter gives into details the articles of the convention between the bureau and the chart. This convention is a document that's been approved by the regulator of the technology, information and communication in Tunisia, and it's been signed between the ATA and a moral person who would like to practice this activity. Article number 2 is about the registration bureau. It's about each moral person established in Tunisia according to Tunisian law and specialized in the registration of domain names, internet. Then the chart of naming. It's the overall rules being implied according to the structures and decision of internet domain name. It's an important chapter in our convention because it provides a definition of all the articles. Then the obligations of the registry, which is ensuring the exploitation of DNS service for the internet domain name, and ensures coherence based on who is accessibility. It guarantees also the performance, the quality and availability of information system related to the attribution and the management of internet domain names. Besides, it defines the creation of the modalities, the provision or the generation and access of donation database related to internet domain names. Finally, it provides or put in place automation tools of registration operation and also the exploitation of internet domain names that allow the interaction with the information system of registration bureaus. This graph best summarizes our model of registration based on 3R. It starts on a manual basis via web access or on automatically either via ATI or soon via EPP standards. With regard to the platform that ensures the accomplishment of the duties of the registry, it covers two sides. It's a platform that respects the high availability and the distribution of the charges at all levels. It's a platform in which we can find the material redundancy and also the level of the network. Our platform is accessible, as we earlier mentioned, via the web and via interface application. What about DNS servers? They are based on the following logical architecture. It's actually based on the principle of load balancing and clustering. As you can see at the top of the slide, then underneath it a multitude of DNS servers. It's a system that has a tolerance of breakdown or measured as 3 out of 4 servers. So we can carry on our services and work using one server if the 3 are broken down. This is within the framework of the respect of the high availability and the chart of our platform. With regard to security aspect, we work based on hidden masters. You see the red DNS there, they are masked one, they are not solicited by the final users or those clients who require resolutions based on DNS. What we expose is only the DNS servers that are slaves in green, and they can be international slaves, and they are 5. You can see them at the top of the slide at the right hand side. Still, with regard to security, our DNS aspect and within our TNA zone, it's signed actually and applied since 2014. Our aim is to avoid attacks man in the middle, cache poisoning via resolver, and data and information modification. Who has or may have the possibility to become a registration bureau? Opportunity is open to any moral person in Tunisia in accordance to Tunisian law. The only condition is that a bureau of registration can not have this activity unless they have a capital reaching 20,000 dinar with a minimal assurance of 1,000 Tunisian dinar. Besides, this registration bureau shall ensure available services reaching 99.7% monthly and provide technical competencies and reasonable means to ensuring warranty these services. Besides, this registration bureau shall undergo an audit in a regular way to its platform. It's the portal through which the registered client and the platform DNS can work in a transparent and secure way. What are the obligations of registration bureau? It is called to respect all the decision of the INT related to the internet domain name, namely the chart of the naming. Besides, it is called to respect the policy, the overall policies, procedures and good practices related to internet domain management. It transmits to the registry within respect of terms of the naming chart or charte de nommage, the elements and or the documents used in the process of registration in the field, in the domain. It's also called to provide all the documents such as the naming chart, how to name the domain and the application of the registration. The office is also obliged to provide for the use of its customers at least a technical infrastructure based on high availability that allow the hosting of DNS in their internet domain name. As I said earlier, it shall be functioning behind or based on a Tunisian network and not outside. This slide is about the different chapters mentioned in our convention. With regard to confidentiality, the government is called to respect the principle of data confidentiality. That they have the right or the possibility to access it, being the government. Besides, it's possible for a registration bureau in a way and another to subtract, to delegate a specific mission to a tertiary party, but it remains under confidentiality, and the Bureau remains the only and unique responsible of the respect of the clauses of the Convention. We have reached 31 Office of Registration based on this Convention. Within the framework of the convention, we use the naming chart that's been elaborated by the NEMT, and it's under the obligation to specify the rules. In this chart, structuring and the name of the domains are divided into two categories, and then those related directly to .tn and the sectorial domains that are attached to spaces of second level, such as .com, .tn, .org.tn, etc. These sectorial domains are divided into two categories. The first one are available to all the registration bureaus according to convention, whereas the others are destined to government or governmental entities. Let's have some details on our structure and how many and our final clients. Actually, we can name here .com, .tn that is eligible to extension. Only commercial companies are eligible to this extension. With regard to extension ENS.tn, it's related to institutions of primary of education, secondary and primary, and higher education, as well as private sector in the field of education, that are part of the convention of the extensions. With regard to the promotion of domain names and the activity of their registration under space.tn, the registry has taken some measures under the name of reforms. Actually, there are many reforms. 3. The first one took place in May 2011. It touched the naming chart.tn and the control. The name of the domain at the launching of the register doesn't function automatically. It has to go to undergo some controlling measures. The reform has cancelled this measure of control, and also the list of some terminologies or articles that did not allow some activities. And we introduced the process of litigation solving as a reform. The other reform took place in 2012. It was marked by the approbation of the first convention of registration by the Registration Bureau, INT, as a arbitrary guide. The naming chart has been modified also when we introduced the specific characters to domain names. We reduced also the minimum required capital from 70,000 Tunisian dinar to 20,000 Tunisian dinar. We have also reduced the price of domain name and retail price. During this reform, we have also reviewed the fees of litigation resolutions. Then, this is an overview of the name of domain.tn. Actually, it's a bit weak. What about challenges and opportunities to our bureaus of registration in order to promote the activities. A registration bureau has the chance to participate in the development of local enterprises. Besides, it can participate in the reinforcement of national identity and creation of added value, in addition to the improvement of local commercial activities. With regard to challenges, we can tell you the professional services suffering from some difficulties, hosting also, or hébergement, besides to packaged offers is another challenge, such as domain names and services together. Online selling shall be also reviewed, and the promotion of commercial strategies in order to promote Tunisian domain. And thank you very much. I am Monsieur Sharqawi, AFRINIC of Morocco. I would like to have a comment on the domain .tn with regard to the development of the local content in our region. We can name the usage of the names of domains. As Tunisian citizens, I would like to know how much and how long do I need to have my domain name. In Morocco, this can be done in 10 minutes for 10 euros. Or in France, but unfortunately, in our region, North Africa, we suffer from the same context, same problems. Tunisian citizens files a request at the Bureau of Registration and can require his request, his domain name in 30 seconds for only 19 dinar TTC, according to the Convention of Registration in the Bureau. What about applications, validation, etc.? It's a question. Well, the answer is that for the registration he has, or the person has to provide at the registration bureau in client space the documents of registration representing his identity, be it a moral or physical entity. Once that's done, it only requires 30 seconds for not more than 19 dinars.
Sorry, sir, you have to follow up with the microphone so that we can trace your conversation.
He shall provide his documents only once at the registration at the bureau in the registration space, client space. Well, registration, is it possible to be done online? Yes, but then we have to provide the documents. Yes, you are right. Once documents are validated, once this person can register as many times as they want in many different domains. The speaker is still insisting on the time provided to wait for the validation of the documents. I am from Madagascar. I am Lutinic. With regard to your system, and as far as I know, the system is being conceived by ATI itself. And now when you say that you don't yet have the APP protocol, that's it. Then you have shown us a full service. Do you also use virtual service or only physical service? What about the foreign registries? Can they be accredited by the ATI? The DNSSEC? What about deployment by FIE or import large structures that have important data to be protected? You haven't mentioned the OE's naming chart, or isn't it a part of your convention?
Keeps falling. Do you want, hold on, sir. Do you want to answer before? Maybe, sorry, maybe you can answer that, then we'll get to you.
With regard to foreign registrar, it is not open now to moral persons for foreign companies to become registration bureaus. And this falls in the framework of the convention approved by the INT. I do not know if there is any project in this field to commercialize the domain under extension.tn for foreign domains. The question: are there important big foreign companies who would like to have an extension .tn? And if yes, they have to go through the local registries. It is possible with regard to the DNSSEC. The involvement of Registration Bureau in DNSSEC, we are open to that. We are ready for that. There are some under the request of their customers are demanding the adding of DNSSEC. But it is the number is very, very little. For the OEs, it is managed at the level of the ATI on the same platform. Our platform is based actually on 100% on virtualization. It's a system based on virtualization with while respecting the principle of HI and with the distribution of the charges at two levels. Redundancy on two sites. At the level of each site, we respect the high availability and the repatriation of the charges. I am Ziad Bouziri. I am a member of Task Force IDN. I work essentially on the label generation in Arabic language. My question is for ATI. We do know that ATI has adopted long ago .tunis in Arabic character. Is there a strategy or projects to adopt Arabic characters, the top level domain and in the second level domain? At the level of HICAN, the definition of LGR is already existing, governing the Arabic language. That was my first question. My second question is about some technical clarification. It's concerning the hosting of the server. Do you have any restrictions on hosting some domain names? With regard to a domain name under .tunis, currently we are almost at 400 domain .tunis. The fact of trying to have a second level extension domain is not presented yet. We haven't noticed any progress for the first level, maybe because the content is weak. The Arabic language content is notably weak, essentially in website, but it is an extension managed at the level of the same platform that manages .tn. We respect high availability for this extension. Actually, it is signed. The DNSSEC is totally deployed.
There's a second question. Please. Okay. Thank you, guys. So let him just follow up. Could you make it brief, please? Yes.
My second question is about those restrictions, if ever any, concerning the hosting of the servers under domain.tn. I'm 100%. I agree with you. In the development of industry of domain names, it's been said that many actors shall work to develop this, or should contribute together. Why not actually send a bid, and we can be there, we can participate, and to cancel or eradicate these obstacles blocking the development of this domain.
Thank you. Please, one question. If you have any follow-up, I'm sure Samir is still around. You can interact with him after the session. Please.
From Nigeria. During your presentation, you mentioned that the domain name doesn't function automatically, that it undergoes some control measures. Please, can you explain more on the control measures that it undergoes?
Your question is not clear. What exactly, because it's a long presentation, what exactly do you want explanation on?
His presentation, he said that the domain name, after being installed, does not function automatically. It undergoes some control measures. So, but you didn't really explain the control measures which the domain name undergoes before it can be used.
Actually, there is no manual acceptance that made by a human. Ça a été une étape par laquelle on a passé. On est actuellement à un système automatisé à 100%. Les bureaux d'enregistrement peuvent interroger nos plateformes avec...
It is an automated system. The registration bureaus can direct customers to use a guide. It's a programming interface that is 100% automatic. So the control and manual validation of domain name is a known steps that we're far beyond now. I am Pascal. I am from Madagascar. I'm working fellow in the AFRINIC. My first question is with regard to particulars. Are they
the best. Thank you.
Would you like to ask him to repeat his question, please?
Just one question. You said you have, when you say my first question, maybe you have three. So just one, please, for the sake of time.
So with regard to particulars, can they have their own domain under their proprietorship, or they must be a registrar? Everybody has to go through the registration bureau, even the individuals or particulars. They must go to an accredited registration bureau in order to acquire their name of domains.
Thank you. I see very many people are willing to engage you with this offline, so please note them. Thank you for your question. Yes, ma'am.
I'm an AFRINIC fellow. I just wanted some clarification on the domain. Is it open, especially to those of us in Anglophone Africa? Thanks.
Just repeat so that he understands.
I just wanted to know, is this accessible to other countries, especially in Anglophone Africa, and can our governments access it?
Yeah, domain are accessible for other countries, but a representative, a legal representative.
The domain are accessible for other countries, but legal representative in those countries shall be established in Tunisia.
Last question, please.
Hello. So my question is, Tunisia has been known for in the past about the issue of the Arab Spring that came up. My question is, so if as an investor, I have a domain name here in Tunisia, what gives me the assurance that if there is going to be any form of internet shutdown, if I own a .tn or someone else owns a .tn, is not going to be shut down by the government?
Okay. Our DNS infrastructure, our architecture, our DNS architecture is based on hidden master.
Our DNS architecture is based on hidden master, on slave servers exposed for clients and users. We have 5 slaves that are international who could respond for queries with regard to .ta domain, even in case of the shutdown.
We can take answers for your domain.
We can take the answers of the domain for international slaves.
Domain from outside, right?
Yeah.
What about from inside?
Yeah, from out.
What about from inside?
We continue working, responding queries for inside queries by our own servers, by our own servers.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Samir. And please let's clap for Samir for a very good presentation.